couple months after that first service, I stumbled across the prayer book doing a paper for a class on marriage. What was it? Marriages and burials. Yeah, that's what it was. It was a pastoral theology class at the seminary. And I just remember getting it in my hands for the first time. I actually stole one of Wellspring's and never gave it back. I actually passed it on to somebody else. I apologize. But it did its spiritual work. Because I just remember opening it and thinking, there's so much in here. This thing is just a wealth, a treasure chest. There's so much to it. So I began to, over time, do a little research, figure out what this is. This is an amazing book. I mean, just to break down Book of Common Prayer, right? This is a kind of amazing thing. Number one, it's a book, right? It's not a blog. It's not a pamphlet, right? It's not even paperback necessarily. It has a solidity to it. It has a history to it. It's a historical artifact. This is one of the books that has changed the course of the history of the world. It shaped the English language. If you think about phrases like ashes to ashes, dust to dust, dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to have and to hold. Those phrases come out of the original language of the Book of Common Prayer. It's used in one way, shape, or form, whether they realize it or not, by about 80 million Anglicans around the world. Right? Some form of the Book of Common Prayer, and many others who listen in for their personal devotions. This is a powerful book. But it's not like most books, right? This isn't a book you just kind of read through or skim through for information. This is a book of prayers. It's a book you pray, right? This is a book you shed tears over. This is the kind of book you rejoice over. This is the kind of a book that you call down curses with, right? This is the book we pray with, and all the messiness of what that looks like. It's not something you read for information. It's something you digest, something that weaves into your soul. Not the same as the Bible, but in many of the same ways as the Bible does. And so as we walk through it, it's good to remember that there are lots of things we can know about the prayer book, but the prayer book isn't written to inform. It's written to shape. It's written to be inhabited by the prayers of the church. So it's the book of prayer, but it's the book of common prayer, right? Common doesn't mean ordinary. I thought that for a long time. Like, where's the book of special prayers? Book of Common Prayer. Common just means together. This is not a book that is any one of our private possessions, right? This is a book by the church, for the church, to be prayed with the church. It's different from many other devotional books that way, right? When you read many other devotional books that are out there on the shelves, that it's very personalized, I, me, you're not expected to necessarily do it with anybody. There might be some discussion questions at the end of a section or something like that. But this is a prayer book meant to be done together. And that's something very significant in our modern cultural milieu, as we'll talk about a little bit later tonight.